Russ Matt Baseball, of course, the largest collegiate baseball spring tournament period in the country. I think the numbers are right around 250 this year for collegiate and 100 high school.
Yes, sir.
So kind of mixing the two, which makes our next guest's job even tougher because you have two different set of rules, all that type of stuff. Todd Marler, chief guy, the head honcho when it comes to umpires and putting the schedule together and kind of coordinating that entire operation for Russ Matt Baseball. Glad to have you with us.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Originally from Atlanta, and you're down here and hopefully staying in one of our wonderful hotels or vacation rental homes. But
absolutely.
Yeah, so that's all good. Todd, tell us a little bit, these massive number of teams that are coming in, and the operational side of baseball is different than actually the teams playing one another. Tell us about that, because that's got to be really tough.
Well, I mean, you brought up the housing. The housing's obviously a big part for us. Is we've got guys coming in from 28 states across the country.
Wow.
So we have to have somewhere for them to stay, obviously, and then it's just it's a logistics work every day of who's going where and how to get the right guys on the right games.
So give us a little scope about umpire. Now it's umpires.
United Umpires.
United Umpires.
Yes, sir.
There's a little bit of the scope because this isn't just a little group of umpires.
No, we're nationwide. We have a collegiate arm that pretty much oversees everything here at Russ Matt. We've got 19 college conferences in the Northeast, 5 being Division I, and then we cover 16 college summer leagues, everything from the Cape Cod League.
I was going to say, make sure it's the Cape Cod League.
So you got to get the plug in for the Cape Cod League.
The premier wood bat league for folks who aren't familiar with it. So.
It's from this Yankee here from Boston.
Yeah.
Boston.
So
there's just a little-known guy like Tom Seaver came out of there. Most of your, I think, the number's crazy at this point.
Oh, it's astronomical.
85 or 95% of the players that you see in the Cape Cod League will play in the major leagues, not just in professional baseball, but the major leagues. So
we're very fortunate. We took that on this past year, but the setting here at Russ Matt's one of a kind. Rob and all the people with Russ Matt are just great partners. We had some weather earlier in the week, and we get a text at 6 o'clock in the morning, hey, we're pushed back, but we'll have donuts in the locker room for the guys.
And so give us some insight on what that does for your day.
As far as the weather pushback?
Yeah. So rain in the middle of the day, you've got to reschedule these guys, and they have lives. Most of them have lives they have to go back to at some point as well.
Correct. This whole process starts in November. So we kind of send out feelers, talk to people. They decide when they're going to be here, and then at that point we start putting together a schedule. We work with Rob and his guys, and at that point, okay, it's all great. Everything's covered. Everything's going to be wonderful. And then day one, we get rain. And at that point, it just becomes a scramble. Mm-hmm. So I guess it was Wednesday night. That process started at about 1:15 in the morning. Back and forth text. We got confirmation from the field guys we were going to push back for about an hour and a half. So then it's just communicating to the umpires and making sure that it's going to work for everybody at that point. And once again, it's so important for this to be a partnership with the Russ Matt people and the people with Polk County. I mean, the grounds crew at Lake Myrtle do such a great job. When we saw it Wednesday morning, I thought we were probably going to be 3 or 4 hours. Those guys got out there, knocked it out, and the lower fields were ready to go in 90 minutes. So kudos to those guys.
Well, that's Mike Hurd, who's he was with the Indians, the Braves, and the Yankees. So he's one of the best.
Yep,
and he's
absolutely.
doing this. But in your operation, is there a difference between NAIA collegiate rules and NCAA rules? I know the high school and collegiate are different.
Correct.
The basic stuff is the same, sure, but there's little nuances that separate the,
The high school rules and college rules there are a lot of differences. The NAIA and NCAA is not that much. Very small things, but the playability of the game is, like you said, it's the same. Baseball's baseball. Has been that way for a really long time.
Yeah.
Doubleday. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think one thing that folks behind the scenes may not realize, or what folks may not realize, is what goes on behind the scenes. So much like a stage play or anything else, you've got your sound people, you've got everything, every component of that comes into a complete experience for the athlete. Tell us about the importance of the umpires and the overall feel for a game.
I think a lot of that starts with, we have an extensive training program during the year. Most all of the umpires that we have here are working a full college schedule back home. So this is kind of their spring training, perfect time for them to get out on the field. But the biggest thing for us is we want it to be, a fair, well officiated ball game for the student athlete. The part that I think a lot of people misunderstand about what we do is you're usually working with the same guy for 3 or 4.
I was going to ask.
3 or 4 days. You're not always the plate umpire. You're not always on the bases. They're going to rotate. And throughout the course of 5 or 6 years here at Russ Matt, guys are making relationships with other umpires. They make relationships with some of the coaches that are coming down, and it's a lot of fun. It creates an environment that we talk about united family, but everybody wants to see everybody succeed, and a lot of people, I think sometimes we get that Darth Vader, we're the bad guy type thing, but we like to see all of these kids succeed too, and
Well, jump back for a second to, a lot of folks don't know this, but this week and next week are the 2 busiest of the 6 weeks that Russ Matt is here.
correct.
And some of those days, and I was talking to Rob about this, you're talking 60, 70 games a day.
Correct.
Not in a week, in a day. I mean, it's just, and what do we have, Jack? 14 fields, facilities that we're using around the county?
Around the county.
Something like that. I mean, that just has to be a nightmare if a guy gets sick. Say he went to Orlando and got food poisoning. You don't get that in Polk County. I'm joking. But
I love that.
so the fact of the matter is, there's so many variables that you're dealing with. I mean, how do you do a spreadsheet? I mean, just the pairings.
We have a proprietary program that we use, that we schedule with, but then a lot of it's done on Excel, for sure.
Okay.
And it's just a matter of like I said, we've got guys from 28 states. We've got a lot of people down here.
That's just umpires.
Just umpires.
Just
yes.
umpires.
So if something does happen, we've got some guys that we can make a phone call. They can come in. But we're, most everybody that comes down here to work, they want to be on the field and be getting the job done.
Well, Alex Santiago would be a good fill-in too.
There you go. Well, I mean, I'm sure he's pinch hit a couple of times when he's had to.
Once or twice.
Yeah. Yeah. Just one real quick question because we've got like 28 seconds. The NIL, names, images, likeness, good or bad from your perspective?
I think it's great for the athlete.
Okay.
It gives them an opportunity to promote themselves at a level, and I think we're going to see it go down even further into high school.
Okay. Yeah,
umpires? NIL for umpires? No? You hope?
Not much. I mean, it would be great, but
Yeah.
We'll just stick with being happy to get some shoes.
All right. All right.
That's fantastic. Todd, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you
We
for
really
joining us.
appreciate it.
Y'all
I know
again,
that
we
you're
really appreciate it.
I mean, the busiest 2 weeks, and you're here with us, and that time is valuable. So thank you so much, and obviously, what a job you do, and we watch it all the time. That's, my office overlooks that Lake Myrtle, championship field, so I get a up close and personal view. So great job.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great day.
If you enjoyed this interview and want to watch more Sports Central, click the video below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.